What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today, this is a special video because there were some things that I was looking at. In my studio, I have a TV. And on my TV, I saw that the NFL Network was replaying the Super Bowl. So, looking back at that Super Bowl, there were things that I was just like absolutely impressed with when it came to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's just absolutely phenomenal when it comes to playing the game. And it's like everything that I was looking for in a player, everything you want in a quarterback was on display when it came to Patrick Mahomes in the overtime. I mean, even watching the game, you saw that his teammates never got flustered when it came to thinking about will he bring them back. And then when you see him in the overtime put the team on his back and just pretty much dominate the game towards the end of the game, it was just one of the most amazing displays of quarterbacking we've ever seen. And what it did was that it played in my mind the conversation earlier when Cam Newton made the point of saying you got game changers and you got game managers, and you got to know which quarterback of yours is that. And for y'all who are new to the channel, I actually do evaluate players in the upcoming draft. And most of the time around this time period, I put out a video where I talk about the guys you should watch or pay attention to in this upcoming draft. And there are some guys that, as I've been evaluating and looking at the quarterbacks, there's some guys in this draft that I think are legitimate game changers and could make a difference. They're guys that I feel that you can actually put a game in their hands and they more than likely will come out on top or can come out on top in these games. And I mean, it's quite impressive at some of these guys, but each guy is, some of them are similar, but some of them are very different from each other. But in their own right, they're all game changers. So for that, I've compiled the list of the 7 guys during my evaluation period. I've compiled the list of 7 guys who could be game changers. That means these guys can either throw the ball really well, run the ball really well. They got a combination of both. The way they look at defenses, the way they maneuver in the pocket and things like that. If they're super accurate, if they're not super accurate, things of that such nature. Guys who could make a difference in the game, just themselves make a big difference in the game. So with that being said, I'm going to give you my 7 guys, and understand these guys are not in any certain order. This is not like I'm ranking. This is not a ranking order. This is just me who looked at 7 guys that, and you know, had my evaluations for them. And I picked these 7 guys as possible game changers when you think about the mode of a Patrick Mahomes, giving a guy a year to adapt himself to the offenses, the NFL offense and game and everything. These guys for right here, I feel, are something special. So number 1 game changer, the first guy I got on here is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I mean, when everybody talks about how he's close to Patrick Mahomes, the crazy thing about it is that there's another guy on this list that I feel has almost similar traits to Mahomes as well. And nobody's talking about him, but I'm just going to keep it going. But Caleb Williams, when you talk about a guy who can throw the ball, a guy who's mobile, a guy who keeps his head up when he breaks the pocket to see if there's a way he could throw the ball out there, the arm angles that he throws the ball with, his ability to read deep and intermediate routes is very impressive as well. And the fact that he does have a fine touch on the ball. This is one of these guys that all you can do is hope and pray that he can be something special. But when you watch him play, you can tell that just like with Mahomes, his teammates believe that there's a chance he's going to throw them back in the game, or he's going to do whatever to get them back in the game, and they're not actually worried. Like there were times in certain games that you saw that the team was down and you thought the team wasn't down at all. And it just seems like they were on the cusp of thinking like, yeah, this guy's going to bring us back. And I tell you, it's amazing when you watch the Caleb Williams film. I mean, he's very, very good. So with that, Caleb Williams, I consider him a game changer. Jaden Daniels, athletically, he's a freak. You know, I mean, you're talking about a guy who just, when he runs the ball, he runs the ball. Now, is there a fear of him running the ball because he's so slight of frame? Yes. But you could never tell that he would even think about being injured because he gets through things. Now, like I said this before about him, what he does, he feels he can outrun everybody. But in a sense of changing the game, like putting a game on his back to let him have it, I think he's one of those guys that does it. I think he does a RG3 type of thing, where it's 4th and 5, and he breaks it off for a touchdown. So I do feel that Jaden Daniels is one of those guys. Again, not only that, he's a better passer. You know, he's a better passer than what people give him credit for. And, like, you know, I get a comparison to RG3, but he's a better thrower than RG3. He can read the defenses better than RG3. But, again, he does have that speed and he does have those moments where he feels he can outrun a guy. But, again, when you talk about the possibility of putting a team on a guy's back and him possibly coming out with the win, Jaden Daniels, for me, is another guy. The next guy I got on here is a guy that I've been talking about on this channel for the longest. He's one of my favorite guys. With the Commanders hiring Cliff Kingsbury as the quarterback, he doesn't fit that scheme. But this is a guy that no matter what goes on, he shows that the team can be placed on his back at any time and he's going to win the game or try his best to win the game. Even though he didn't have a good showing in the national title game, he's still good. Michael Penix Jr. In an NFL where throwing is the dominant thing, you can't get a better passer than him. He's the best passer in this draft. There is no one in this draft, including Caleb Williams, that throws the ball better than Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. throws this ball with a level of accuracy, and I mean, he operates like a dentist, you know what I'm saying, like or like a doctor, you know, like his precision is insane. And the fact that he throws with great anticipation, he can delay a throw and still get the ball where it needs to be. And on top of that, he goes through his progressions very quickly, especially when he feels that the guy isn't open. But again, he'll throw a guy open. And like I said, he can be mobile, but he doesn't look to be a guy that wants to run the ball. He can do it. He just chooses not to do it, really. And you're talking about a guy that we've seen it. He throws the ball so well that it's hard for anybody to stop him from being better than what he is. I mean, again, he is the best passer in this draft. And even in the national title game where they were down losing and stuff like that, you heard his teammates say, when he got injured, he was like, I'm gonna keep on playing. And Rome Odunze said, okay, cool, because we need you. Like, that level of confidence in a quarterback is very rare to find. And like I said again, this guy's ability to throw the ball is at a level that we have not seen in a lot of guys. And like I said, his ability to be anticipatory with the throws, his ability to read deep and short passes, his ability to throw the ball at certain velocities to either get the ball to where it needs to go quickly, or if he just needs to have a little bit more touch on the ball. But again, this is another guy, game changer. I mean, in the NFL, where passing is king, why wouldn't you want the best passer to be on your draft list? So with that, Michael Penix, he's another one of those game changers. Another one is Bo Nix. Bo Nix is one that, like I said, my only concern with Bo Nix is what does he look like outside of that Oregon offense. Now, we did get a glimpse at the Senior Bowl, but we're talking about 3 days of preparation. 3-4 days of preparation. That's not enough time to get a guy really acclimated to your system. But Bo Nix is another one of those guys. He's another one of those guys that when you think about throwing deep, throwing short, and at the same time, if something isn't there, he gets out of the pocket. Not only that, he does show a level of patience, and he doesn't show fear when he gets outside the pocket. Like, he'll get outside the pocket and is still calm enough outside the pocket that he can make a play should he run the ball or throw the ball. So he's one of these guys that, again, he's on the same level as a game changer. He can make a play. When you think about it, I think that if he is in fact a guy that's not a product of the Oregon system, you can see him kind of like in that Josh Allen mode for real, because he does a good job with being able to get the ball down the field, get himself in spaces where he can be free and feel comfortable throwing the ball. He doesn't necessarily need the offensive line to be great, but he does need it to be fairly good. And like I said again, once he gets outside the pocket, he's okay. He's okay. He's not panicking when he's outside the pocket. So for that, he's another one that I really like. The next one is Jordan Travis, Florida State quarterback. Let me tell y'all something. If you don't know what a game changer is, all you got to understand is this. Florida State didn't make the national playoff series because Jordan Travis was injured. Like, think about the level of impact a quarterback has to have that his entire team doesn't make it solely because he's not on the team. That's what you get in Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis is another one that when it comes to getting outside the pocket, he's very comfortable with getting outside the pocket. Not only that, he's very deceptive once he gets outside the pocket. He's a guy that will make you think he's throwing the ball when he gets outside the pocket and will mess around and run. He's basically had tons of time where he's had defenders confused on what he was getting ready to do, and he's broke away or gotten a big yardage out of it. So he's a guy that can throw. He does a fantastic job with throwing. He does a fantastic job with getting out and getting in space. And he also does a really good job with not necessarily threading the needle, but he anticipates a little bit better than some quarterbacks, but he still has those moments where he's throwing the ball in a very dangerous space, but the balls always seem to get there. So I'm quite impressed with Jordan Travis, and like I said, I think he would be higher up people's draft boards if he didn't get injured this year. But he's a guy that can be one of those game changers. The next guy is Joe Milton III, the Tennessee quarterback. last year in Tennessee they had Herndon Hooker, and I remember I couldn't evaluate Herndon Hooker so well enough because the offense was so bad. This year we saw the coach actually adjust the offense slightly. He like you saw him give a guy like Joe Milton more leeway in the offense than what we saw with Herndon Hooker. But Joe Milton, the problem with Joe Milton is that he has his accuracy issues. Almost, it's not quite as similar to Anthony Richardson, because Anthony Richardson was very good at diagnosing defenses and stuff like that. He just wasn't very accurate. But Joe Milton is a guy that athletically he's another one of these freaks, like a freak athletic guy. And now I equate him more to Lamar Jackson than I do Jaden Daniels, because he has the size. He's 6'5", you know what I'm saying, and he's 240 something, I think. But again, when you watch him play, you're like, man, this guy can make all the plays just with his feet and his legs. And I mean, he has the ability to outrun people or run over people, almost like Cam Newton. Cam Newton might be the best comparison when it comes to Joe Milton. Now, Cam threw better than Joe Milton, but Joe Milton could be in that class of guys that if you give him the opportunity and give him a chance to get better as a passer, you might be talking about a guy that could be a freak depending on how well he is. Now again, we don't know if he can read defenses that well, because that Tennessee offense still plays a huge role in that, because I'm not certain if it's more the coach reading the defense and giving him the play to read, or if it's him just coming up with it himself. I doubt it. But again, like I said, Joe Milton III, athletically, yes, he's a game changer. Not really certain as a passer. He's okay as a passer. I wouldn't even call it okay, because he misses high a lot on guys, and he's not accurate at all. But again, like I said, neither was Anthony Richardson. The difference is that with Anthony Richardson, you could see that he could see the defenses and stuff, and he could read defenses. Joe Milton, maybe not so much. Last but not least is a guy that I don't hear anyone talking about. Now, it could be because he's transferred several times while being in school, but every time I've watched him play, I think he only has one actual season of full games, because I think he played 13 games in 2022 or 2021. But watching him play, he has almost this Patrick Mahomes-y style of play as well. And that guy is Emory Jones, the quarterback out of Cincinnati. When I've watched him play, there's times where improvisational ability is something that not a lot of guys have the knack for, making plays like that. This guy does it very, very well. And the thing about him is that he's also one of these dual threat with the ability to throw and run that makes him even more dangerous. Now, he's just as slight as Jaden Daniels when it comes to size. He looks a little bit bigger than Jaden Daniels, but he still looks fairly small. But he's 6'3". He's 6'3". So he has the height. There was several times where I watched him play and the pocket collapsed. And what he did was he ran to a space and then threw the ball from that space. Whereas he could have run the ball in for the touchdown. He just felt the need to throw it to a space, and that was pretty much it. It's crazy at how sometimes we don't look at guys that are on losing teams, because sometimes what happens is that when you look at a guy that's on a losing team, you don't really ever find out how good he really is. And Emory Jones is one of those guys. I think that this dude might be a sleeper guy in the draft, because if he goes to the right place, let's say he goes to, I don't know, somewhere. Let's say he goes somewhere where there's Andy Reid disciple that's there. He has a chance of being something special, especially in that Andy Reid system. Emory Jones, like I said, there were tons of plays where you would see him and he would run to a spot and would then reset himself, scan the field, and either throw the ball or run the ball. He resets himself very quickly. Like in comparison to some of these other quarterbacks, he resets himself very quickly. He resets himself better than the rest of them. And there are times where you see him run. He'll run to a spot. He's already setting himself up, scans the field, and will find an open receiver. Or if he'll scan the field, he's already stunned the defenders. So they're not certain what he's going to do. He'll run it right in for the touchdown. I like this guy. But he has to go to somewhere where he has a legitimate chance of being something special. And like I said, for all y'all who don't know this guy, look him up. Emory Jones. Check out his film. Check out his film from 2022. It's either 2022 or 2021. Because I think he was at Arizona State. But still, check him out, man. I mean, this guy is a fantastic player. And like I said, when you talk about game changing, you talk about something kind of close to a Patrick Mahomes, Emory Jones could be that guy. He could definitely be that guy. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How many of y'all feel that some of these guys are actually game changers on this list? And do you have guys that you feel are game changers? And I'll let you know in the comments. I'll come back with a comment show on this very thing. But y'all tell me what y'all think about these game changers. Before I go, I want to sit up here and thank all of you for watching my show, subscribing to the channel, listening to me as I badger on or talk on about all things Commanders and football and other sports and my sports rundown. I want to tell y'all how much I greatly appreciate all of you. Your boy has got to 500 subscribers, and I can't thank all of you enough. You know, I always talk about my day ones, and I remember how Certified was the first person that had ever commented on one of my videos. And I remember there was times when me and Certified would be the only ones in the comments talking back and forth. As time went on, then Cedric Moore showed up, and Merle Locklear showed up, and Bowie Banks showed up, and YT Renly showed up, and you know, there was so many people that ended up showing up and started to make me understand and feel that what I was doing was something that I was bringing really good content, and I was bringing really good information, and helping people think outside the box and look outside the box at certain things. And I just can't thank you guys enough, man. I mean, you guys have done so much for me that I all I can do is just appreciate you every single moment in time. And like I said, again, I just thank all of y'all. Your man has gotten to 500. I'm on the road to 6, on the road to 7, on the road to 8, 9, 10, 1,000. You know, and I'm just going to keep doing everything I can to bring you guys the best content I can, and keep saying and telling y'all things that helps y'all think outside the box. But again, this is about y'all. You guys have done it all for me, and I just greatly appreciate it all. I love y'all, and I thank y'all. I'm now part of the 500 Club, and I appreciate it. But other than that, man, this has been your man John Fortune with love. And this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.